Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Sadhaka group, we really appreciate you all coming tonight, and certainly what an extraordinary opportunity we have tonight to really meditate together and attune our consciousness to the spirit of this great master, Lahiri Mahasaya. As we were preparing for this, I was thinking a lot about just what a history-shattering moment it was when Lahiri Mahasaya met Babaji and realized his self-realization, realized his oneness with God, and then brought that back to a life that typically wasn't reserved for self-realized masters, that of the householder, that of a working man. And what a blessing to think that how many people, speaking for someone my own age, it's hard to think of a world in which there's not a yoga studio in every strip mall and every corner. But in those days, the practice of Kriya yoga was reserved for a very select few. And for Lahiri Mahasaya to bring his realization, his profound realization, to a menial job, so to speak, and to the life of a householder who had a wife and children was at that time, I imagine, extraordinary and probably mind-blowing for many people. But his impact on history is the reason that we are all here today and that we are all able to practice the sacred science of Kriya Yoga. And as a householder myself, I'm particularly grateful for his impact on history, and then of course for his disciple, Sri Yukteswar, and his disciple, Paramahansa Yogananda. I was also thinking about the fact that, there's a reason that Master trained us all to pray, invoking each of the Masters in turn, and not just to pray to Divine Mother or God alone. And I think that's very powerful and definitely something to meditate on, that each of these masters in turn deserves a place of reverence in our lives. And so tonight, to come together to give that special reverence to the spirit of Lahiri Mahasaya is something that I think, like I said, is a tremendous opportunity for all of us. And I hope that together we can feel his living presence with us and guiding us, as it always is there, but bringing our conscious focus and awareness to it and to his individual part of this ray of the divine light. And also feel his divine power that flowed through him and the divine love that his disciples felt sitting in that little room in Benares with him. And as we continue in this program tonight, feel that Lahiri is guiding you in thought and even in your breath. Feel that he is guiding your listening to these readings. And for those that have taken Kriya initiation, feel his guiding hand in your practice ever more strongly, that you may practice the sacred science ever more perfectly. Feel your mind and body ever restful, being guided as though in a boat on a stream of bliss, as Lahiri Mahasaya steers the rudder. Let's be open tonight to miracles and the profound realization of God that is our divine birthright. We are blessed this evening to have some sacred relics from the life of Yogananda's mother and Lahiri Mahasaya, and I'd like to invite Lisa to come up to say a few words about those.
Good evening. As I was just looking up here, I was realizing, especially inspired by that clip of film, that these relics, there's no one in this room who was alive when Yogananda was, we never met him in person. But we certainly didn't, we weren't around when Sri Yukteswar and Lahiri Mahasaya and Babaji walked the earth, although Babaji still does. But the history behind these objects, not only do they hold the vibration of the masters who they belong to, who use them, but they each seem to have a very significant story to help you tune into, and really when you come up and we're able to sit and touch and meditate with these items, really tune into those stories. The first one is Lahiri Mahasaya's water pot, and it was given to us by Yogananda's family. It was given to Gyan Prabha, Yogananda's mother, and there came a time when I'm not sure if he was born yet or if he was very, very young, that she suddenly came down with Asiatic cholera, usually a fatal disease, very quickly. And Lahiri told her, fill the pot with water, leave it overnight, and in the morning drink it, and you'll be fine. And we'll notice in many stories of the masters and their miracles, they always gave you something, an oil or a flower or something, to make it more tangible so you could believe in it. You could think, oh, this is the thing that's curing me. But she did follow his instructions, and she was cured. And so in the spirit of that story, and I don't believe you can find that story anywhere written down. I've combed the books, but we did hear it in India from the family directly, and there's many stories that come to us that way. So we're really trying hard to remember them and write them down before we start forgetting them. So in the spirit of that, at the time when we're able to come up here after the flower ceremony or during it and relate to the relics and sit with them a bit, there is water in the pot. There's also some rose petals and some rose oil. And it did sit overnight with the water in it in Swami's meditation room. So with that same spirit, you can dip your hand in the pot and touch yourself on the spiritual eye, bless yourself with it, and really remember that there was a cure of a imminently deadly disease. And so if you have something to offer, think, that Lahiri can cure that in you. Over here, we'll move this table closer in a little while. There is a photograph of Lahiri Mahasaya. I believe there were only 2 photographs ever taken of him, and there are a few paintings around. But this is one of the prints. I'm trying to remember it was one of the 2 prints from one of the photos, in the original photos. And if you're familiar with how photography works, it's the light interacts with the photo medium on the plate, and then you're given an image. So it's an image created of light. And Lahiri was not a fan of being in front of cameras, so we're very lucky. This photo was given to us by his great-great-grandson, Shubhendu Lahiri, and we're really blessed to have it. This photo can be, I don't know if it's the exact same photo that Gyan Prabha had in the house, but she talks about in the autobiography of a yogi having a beautiful photo of Lahiri Mahasaya in an ornate frame. And now it was Yogananda's turn to contract Asiatic cholera. And she knew the power of Lahiri being her guru and being an incarnation of God. And so he was so weak, as they always say, from the symptoms, but it's a very drastic disease. And she held the photo up and she said, I know you can't bow to him, but mentally bow to him and he will heal you. And she was holding the photo up, and they both witnessed this light coming from the photo, and he was healed of the cholera too. And this is not the actual photo that happened with, but it's probably one of the images. So it's an original photo. It does have the power also to bless you in this way. And then next to it, it might look a little strange at first. You wonder what it is. It looks like a cupcake on it. But there's a bead, a Rudraksha bead from Lahiri Mahasaya's mala. It's a little tiny one, so I have it sewn onto a little pillow so we don't lose it and it can sit and be seen. So feel free when we are with the relics to go ahead and hold that up if you'd like to put the bead on your spiritual eye. It can be very powerful. So knowing that Lahiri, whether he actually used beads to count kriyas or he did japa with it or whatever, that bead was in his hand. And this pot was in his hands and in Yogananda's mother's hands and the whole family of Yoganandas. And lastly, there is I don't know if it's a sandalwood mala, but it's a little wood mala that was on the murti in the temple at the Lahiri home where Shubhendu Lahiri now resides in Varanasi. on a murti there. And if you know about Indian murtis, once they're carved, there's a ceremony. You bring it to the temple where it's going to reside, and the priests, the pujaris there, do a ceremony to draw the consciousness of the person that this is an image of into that murti. Murti means likeness. You hear a lot in India, people use the word idol because they just don't have that's just the word they use, but it's the likeness of the guru or the saint. And you touch this if you'd like when you come up to the front. I just wanted to mention the color picture on the altar. We have three pictures like this, of Babaji, Lahiri, and Sri Yukteswar in Shrine of the Masters. And those pictures are actually pictures by Sananda Ghosh, Yogananda's younger brother. He would tint photographs and then sign it in color as well. And so we've taken some pictures of those and we have them available, and that's what's up here tonight. But those were on Kamala Silva's altar, and she was a direct disciple of Yogananda in California. And now I think Margaret is going to read a story or tell.
Christ-like life of Lahiri. Unknown to society in general, a great spiritual renaissance began to flow from a remote corner of Benares. Just as the fragrance of flowers cannot be suppressed, so Lahiri Mahasaya, quietly living as an ideal householder, could not hide his innate glory. Slowly, from every part of India, the devotee bees sought the divine nectar of the liberated master. Day after day, one or two devotees besought the sublime Guru for Kriya initiation. Lahiri Mahasaya sought to answer the common challenge. After performing one's business and social duties, where is the time for devotional meditation? The harmoniously balanced life of the great householder Guru became the silent inspiration of thousands of questioning hearts. Earning only a modest salary, thrifty, unostentatious, accessible to all, the master carried on naturally and happily in the path of worldly life. Though ensconced in the seat of the Supreme One, Lahiri Mahasaya showed reverence to all men, irrespective of their differing merits. When his devotees saluted him, he bowed and turned to them. With childlike humility, the master often touched the feet of others, but seldom allowed them to pay him similar honor, even though such obeisance toward the Guru is an ancient Oriental custom. A significant feature of Lahiri Mahasaya's life was his gift of Kriya initiation to those of every faith. Not Hindus only, but Muslims and Christians were among his foremost disciples. Monists and dualists, those of all faiths or of no established faith, were impartially received and instructed by the universal Guru. Those from every walk of life found shelter under the Master's omnipresent wings. Like all God-inspired prophets, Lahiri Mahasaya gave new hope to the outcast and downtrodden of society. Always remember that you belong to no one, and no one belongs to you. Reflect that someday you will suddenly have to leave everything in this world. So make the acquaintanceship of God now, the great Guru told his disciples. Prepare yourself for the coming astral journey of death by daily riding in the balloon of God perception. Through delusion, you are perceiving yourself as a bundle of flesh and bones, which at best is a nest of troubles. Meditate unceasingly, that you may quickly behold yourself as the infinite essence, free from every form of misery. Cease being a prisoner of the body. Using the secret key of Kriya, learn to escape into spirit. No birth, no death, no cast above. No birth, no death, no cast above. Mother, mother, how I yearn. Mother, mother, how I yearn. I am here, I am here, blessed Spirit, I am here. I am here, I am here.
Spirit, I am here.
Lahiri Mahasaya carefully graded Kriya into 4 progressive initiations. He bestowed the 3 higher techniques only after the devotee had manifested definite spiritual progress. One day, a certain chela, convinced that his worth was not being duly evaluated, gave voice to his discontent.
Master, surely I'm ready now for the second initiation.
At this moment, the door opened to admit a humble disciple, Brinda Bhagat. He was a Benares postman.
Brinda, sit by me here. Tell me, are you ready for the second Kriya initiation?
Gurudeva, no more initiations, please. I have come here today to ask your blessing. How can I assimilate any higher teachings that the first divine Kriya has filled me with such intoxication? I cannot deliver my letters.
Already Brinda swims in the sea of spirit.
Master, I see I've been a poor workman, finding fault with my tools.
The postman, who was an uneducated man, later developed his insight through Kriya to such an extent that scholars occasionally sought his interpretation on involved scriptural points. Innocent alike of sin and syntax, little Brinda won renown in the domain of learned pundits.
Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song.
My son, Babaji said, embracing me, your role in this incarnation must be played on an outward stage. Prenatally blessed by many lives of lonely meditation, you must now mingle in the world of men. A deep purpose underlay the fact that you did not meet me this time until you were already a married man with modest business responsibilities. You must put aside your thoughts of joining our secret band in the Himalayas. Your life lies in the crowded marts, serving as an example of the ideal yogi householder. The cries of many bewildered worldly men and women have not fallen unheard on the ears of the Great One, he went on. You have been chosen to bring spiritual solace through Kriya Yoga to numerous earnest seekers. The millions who are encumbered by family ties, that heavy worldly duties will take new heart from you, a householder like themselves. You must guide them to see that the highest yogic attainments are not barred to the family man. Even in the world, the yogi who faithfully discharges his responsibilities without personal motive or attachment treads the sure path of enlightenment. No necessity compels you to leave the world, for inwardly you have already sundered its every karmic tie. Not of this world, you must yet be in it. Many years still remain during which you must conscientiously fulfill your family, business, civic, and spiritual duties. A sweet new breath of divine hope will penetrate the arid hearts of worldly men. From your balanced life, they will understand that liberation is dependent on inner rather than outer renunciations. Bestow the Kriya key only to qualified chelas, Babaji said. He who vows to sacrifice all in the quest of the divine is fit to unravel the final mysteries of life through the science of meditation. Angelic Guru, as you have already favored mankind by resurrecting the lost Kriya art, will you not increase that benefit by relaxing the strict requirements for discipleship? I gazed beseechingly at Babaji. I pray that you permit me to communicate Kriya to all seekers, even though at first they cannot vow themselves to complete inner renunciation. The tortured men and women of the world, pursued by the threefold suffering, need special encouragement. They may never attempt the road to freedom if Kriya initiation be withheld from them. Be it so. The divine wish has been expressed through you. With these simple words, the merciful Guru banished the rigorous safeguards that for ages had kept Kriya from the world. Give Kriya freely to all who humbly ask for help. After a silence, Babaji added, repeat to each of your disciples this majestic promise from the Bhagavad Gita. Swalpamasaya, Dharmasaya, Trayata Mahato, Boyat. Even a little bit of the practice of this religion will save you from dire fears and colossal sufferings.
Let us now take the inspiration that we feel into a short meditation, about 5 minutes or so. Sitting up straight, bringing your attention to the point between the eyebrows. Once again asking to be guided by Lahiri Mahasaya to that point of inspiration that is helping you toward your next step to God. When a chant begins, you may come up as you feel inspired with your flower to offer your gratitude, your devotion to the Guru. We will sing a few different chants and give everyone ample time to meditate, to be with these sacred relics, and to offer flowers at the altar. We will end with a prayer, and prasad will be brought back to the foyer. The prasad will be blessed at the altar, and you may pick it up at the foyer when we are finished. Let's meditate now.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram,
Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Friend, Beloved God,
Reverend Beloved God,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahasaya,
Lahiri Mahasaya,
Swami Sri Yukteswar,
Swami Sri Yukteswar,
Beloved Guru,
Beloved Guru,
Paramhansa Yogananda,
Paramhansa Yogananda,
Saints of all religions,
Saints of all religions,
we humbly bow at thy feet.
we humbly bow at thy feet.
May thy love shine forever
May thy love shine forever
on the sanctuary of my devotion,
on the sanctuary of my devotion,
and may I be able
and may I be able
to share that love
to share that love
with all hearts.
with all hearts.
Om peace. Amen.
Amen.
You may stay to meditate or leave quietly.